On page 7 and 8, we're going to repeat another line that we just sang. Hi, everybody. Good Shabbos. Shabbos. I got some hands up. Good Shabbos. How happy are you to be here? You happy to be here? I'm so happy to be here. Oh, my goodness. It's Shabbos. Woo. Ain't going to work on Saturday. I mean, I'm working, but it's not exactly work. Hey, Zumagoggers. Shabbos. I know where I was 5 years ago tonight, I should say 5 years ago, 14 years ago. The second night of my Sheva Brachas, 14 years ago, at Shari and Maurice's house, the night that Barack Obama, that great moment in human history and American history, that night, celebrating, my wedding, that's what I meant. It's also important, that's also, awesome. I love this phrase. Look at page 8, in the Hebrew on the right side, in the English, Higale Na. We chant this for years with Shir Yaakov's beautiful melody. It begins with the letter Hey, and forms the acrostic of God's four-letter name with the previous three stanzas, Yud, Hey, Vav, and then Higale, Hey. It means reveal, open. Legalot means to expose, to be vulnerable. I don't know who got me a T-shirt that said vulnerability. It said vulnerability is hot. That was the T-shirt I got. So it's like we're saying to God, you can be vulnerable, God, with us, you know? We're here to receive your presence, and we're also exposing that desire for ourselves. We're here because we want something from Shabbat, which is the presence of Sukkot Shalom, the peace, the presence that comes when we can safely exhale, know that all around us there's space. You can feel that space behind you, above you, some space, you know, some makom, some merchav, some margin for relaxation and for metabolizing our week, which is Shabbat is helping us to metabolize our week. We let it go and we assimilate what we need to, and we let it go. So on page 7 and 8, chant or just find your breath as you release the week and find Shabbat together. Higalena.
Higale, gale, gale. Ufros, chadivi alai.
Mourner on page 9 and 10.
I
זמירות נריאנו
כי על גדול אדוני ומלך גדול כל אלוהים אשר בידו מאת קריאה וסודו סביב וכל אשר לא חיים ועשו אל תקשו לבבכם כי מירה ביום עשה במדבר אשר ניסוני אבותיכם וחנורם ולגום פרדים
40 שנה עקוד בדור
Their hearts went straying
לא אומם טועי לבם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי בימים אם יבואו אל מנוחתי
שיר לאדוני שיר חדש on page 11 and 12 שיר לכל ארץ שיר לאדוני On the bottom of the page it says the one with the scales of justice the sky is shouting its joy the earth dances its gladness the sea roars in jubilation and then these words in the Hebrew Alo Sadai V'chol Asher Bo the fields the plants the animals they're making merry and the trees are singing we're listening for God's footsteps and so as we chant this tonight may the fields and the plants and the animals of our Mother the Earth be full of song as we all listen for the footsteps of the one.
יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי איי 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 יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי איי 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 אז ירדנו כל עצי Running
לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ויאמין באמונתו. אדוני מלך תגיע לארץ, ישמחו עם רבים, ענן וערבל סביבה. צדק ומשפט בכל כיסו, at page 13 and 14. שמה ותשמח ציון ותגלנה בנוס יהודה למען משפטך אדוני. כי אתה אדוני עליון על כל הארץ ועונס על כל אלוהים. אוהבי אדוני שנאו רע, שומר נפשו חסידה, מיד ראשונים יצילם.
זהו על הצדיק ולישראל סייע. שמחו צדיק עם אדוני והודו לזכר קודשו.
We get to go page 15 and 16. מזמור שיר לאדוני שיר חדש, כי נפלאות עשו שלא ימינו זו הקדשו. זכר חסד ונעזור לבית ישראל, ראו כל הסרט את ישוע אלוהינו. זמרו לאדוני בכינור לכל זמרה, לחצות רוס וכל שופר, הרי לפני מלך אדוני. ירם הים ומלומו, תבל ויושבה, ליד ראש עמך וכף, יחד הרים ירננו. לפני אדוני קיווה, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, ויאמין במי שונים. Psalm 99 on page 17 and 18. אדוני מלך יגזו עמים יושב קרובים. רממו אדוני אלוהים ישתחוו לאדוני קדשו.
משה וירון בכהנה, ושמואל וקורא שמו, קוראים אל אדוני, אי והוא יענה. ביעמוד ענן וידבר עליהם, שמרו עדותיו וחוק נתן עמו. אדוני אלוהינו אתה ניתן, אל נושא היית להם ונוקם על עלילותם. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Israel, Psalm 29 on page 19.
מזמור לדוד, אבו לאדוני בלילי, אבו לאדוני תעבוד בעוז. אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, ישתחוו לאדוני בהדר קודש. כל אדוני על המים, אל הקודש. אדוני על מים רבים, אדוני
Page 21 and 22. You may be seated. Tatir tzura kabelina samecha sagvenu tavenu noga nagibor. Yachige eli amecha vanei. Shavasenu kavilu shmata kasenu. On the bottom of page 21 and 22, the 6 words that always go together with Shema, they're yin and yang of Shema, or as the Zohar calls it, the upper unification and the lower unification. Blessed is the name of your glory. We don't know exactly how to translate this. Blessed is the name of your luminous or numinous presence throughout all time and space, whereas Rav Zalman used to translate it, throughout time and space, your glory shines, majestic one. Whatever it is, it has to do with the word bracha, blessing. And so blessing, as my teacher, Rabbi Zohar Atkins, taught today in his beautiful Dvar Torah, blessing is always an expression of vulnerability. To be blessed is to say, I need blessing. It's always to acknowledge a blessing that, a kind of a hope, a yearning, a desire. We say, your world is already blessed, God, but we don't always see it that way, but we wish we did. So open our eyes to see blessing. That's the deepest union, even higher maybe than the Shema, which we say out loud every day, but we want a glimpse tonight and in every night of our lives of the blessing. May it be so. Oh, Shem Kavod.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
So I invite you to take a minute, if your eyes are not already closed, to give yourself permission to close your eyes and to relax your shoulders. Give yourself permission to Just be fully present with your body and your heart, your thoughts, whatever is true for you at this moment. No need to sit up straight or adopt a meditation posture. Just noticing what's present is meditation. And just notice how quickly you can notice sensations, sounds. And just like that, you're at awareness, you're at attention. You've reclaimed the most precious gift that you have, which is your attention. Our attention is being sold in every moment. It's an act of great strength to reclaim your attention. Focus on the breath or the focus on what's here at this moment. The Torah says, do not leave your house, or really your place, on Shabbat. Stay in your place, in the space where all blessing begins, which is on the inside. On this week of journeys, I'll bring you a poem from our amazing Sharon Dolan in her book, Imperfect Present. Trust in the you of now, which is fleeting, which chameleons into the next you of until then to when. Trust there will be a way forward when all paths are blocked with ice and wind. Directions are infinite slices of now. Study your compass. Your true north has shifted into spring. Believe you will show up as you have always done. No matter the weather undoes you. You built the well because it dips into the earth far past the point you could sound on your own. So use the bucket, lowered by the rope. Even the rain mixed with a few stray stars spangles the skin of the water you find. Remind yourself, as above, so below. Reflect that what you know and what you do not know will clasp hands to hoist you back up into the only moment there is. And so this day, which 5 years ago was the yortzeit of the great prophet from Montreal, the great Cohen, Leonard Cohen, takes us from the past into the present as we dip our buckets and clasp our hands of what we know and do not know. Day 23 and 24. Echad Dodi. B'nei Shabbat Shamor v'zachor b'dibur lecha Yishmianu el ha'milchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'nitnila l'chad likrat kala b'nei Shabbat Moshir Liyom HaShabbat. On page 27 and 28, as we turn, please remain standing. Magadu Masecha Adonai Moram Gumak Shivosach Ishbar Lo Yedam. Tzadik Katamar Yifrach Yeres Balevado Yizker Shesulim Beveis Adonai Bechatzros Eloheinu Yafich Od Yinovod Tzeva Dishenim V'na'ananim Yehiyu Lechagid Yashar Adonai Tzuri V'lo Avla Sabu Adonai Malakehu Slavesh on page 29. Sacred rivers arise, their voices sound. They raise up a roaring above the waters of the great waters. Above the crashing of the sea's waves, sublime in the heights is the one. Your witnesses rightly testify. Your house is a beautiful holiness forever. Eidosecha nebru me'od v'eschana v'kodesh Adonai le'orech yamin. We pray for those in need of healing tonight. We find the words to Psalm 147 on page 113.
You can be seated.
Bring to mind those who are in need of healing tonight. Bring to mind those who are broken in body and heart, mind, and spirit. We pray for those who are Shivurei Lev and Shivurei Guf and Shivurei Ruach. Healer with the brokenhearted. Hold them in your heart.
Healer of the broken-hearted, binder of their wounds, counter of uncountable stars. You know who they are. Harofeh lishvurei lev, umchabesh le'atzvotam, moneh misfar lakochavim, lekulam shemot yikra.
May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all those who were holding, specifically my friends Emily and Manvinder tonight. I'm praying for you, for your whole family. Praying for all of those who are in our community who need healing. May there be healing for them. And let us say together, Amen and Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Amen. I'm so happy to see all of you. You may now be seated. Thank you so much. It's so uplifting, the music, and hearing Jackson's beautiful voice and the guitar together with Noah and Carla and Shoshana. It's really, thank you so much for your generous voices and all of you together. It's so beautiful just to sing together this way. Right? It's just amazing, right? So some of you I haven't seen in a long time, and I'm hoping that you'll stand up and say hello, but if you don't, just want you to know that I saw you. And I'm so happy that you're here. You know who you are. A couple of very brief announcements before we do the kind of Romemu style say hello to everybody, which is not obligatory. It's just like an option if you want to say hi, check out and see if we're as friendly as we say we are. Try us out, see if it's true. Mike is new on the sound. Mike, you're doing a great job. Is this on now, Mike? It's on? Okay, cool. I'm going to run it around because that way I'm closer to people and I can it's good. But first I'm going to give some announcements, okay? So a couple of very brief announcements. In the newsletter that we have given to you, so a couple of things that you might need to focus on. First of all, tomorrow, Abe and Sabrina, Abe Stein and Sabrina Silver are honoring their son Ty, Sebastian, or Ty, with his mazel tov to his bar mitzvah, which is tomorrow. There'll be a Kiddush for the entire community tomorrow after services. So that's going to be exciting. And Ty is a spectacularly well-prepared and poised young man. He's going to be incredible tomorrow. Also, let everybody know that Beit Midrash is back. Everybody's welcome to join Rabbi Kohler Esses for Beit Midrash. That's happening on Wednesdays across the street at the Romemu Center. It's also in your newsletter, so check that out. There are lots of other classes as well that are available in your newsletter, so check those out as well. Hebrew and Kabbalah, Chassidut, all kinds of good things. Also to let you know that starting next week, don't forget, we'll be falling back this week. So next week, Shabbat services begin at 6 o'clock, not at 6:30, just to note, put an alarm in there. So you'll be late if you come at 6:30. So also thank you to Neil Brodsky, Bob Schloss, and David Siegman for sponsoring the new equipment that we'll be using tomorrow morning at our open book. We're going to have an owl. It's kind of an amazing hybrid. It's going to make it easier. And also this week, thanks to an anonymous donor who's made it possible for us to have a percussionist. Our very own Shoshana Jedwab is joining us.
Not just any percussionist.
Not any percussionist, right. Shoshana.
Specifically, Shoshana Jedwab.
Right, actually that's true, Jackson's right. So the donor said, we want Shoshana. So Shoshana said, it's good to be wanted. And if anybody else is here, we still have a little bit to go to make sure that Shoshana will be with us for the entire year. So call me, let me know that you'd want to support that, and we'll be happy to make that available to you, that tzedakah, that chesed. Also, of course, if you've not already taken advantage of early voting, make a plan to vote on Tuesday. We'll talk a little bit about that in a little while. But certainly, I think it's not lost on anybody here the importance of our voices and our hatzbiyah to make ourselves seen and make sure that our voice is counted on Tuesday. So please avail yourselves of that. Okay. A couple of newcomers. Anybody want to say hello? Not putting anyone on the spot other than if you choose to be on the spot, we love it. So hi, would you stand? Is that okay? And just your name and where you're from. Is that good?
Hi, my name is Marla. I live down the block.
Love that.
And I usually attend CBST in Chelsea, but since I got married and I'm living up here, I've decided to take a dip in. It's wonderful. It's very different than what I'm used to, but it's really quite wonderful.
Wow, on a week of journeying, it's like really beautiful that you're willing to do something different. It's great. And where you're down the block shul, that's a great thing. Hi, welcome, Marla. Hi.
Hi, and Shabbat Shalom. I'm Marty Wolf. I'm from Wanamassa, New Jersey.
Okay.
And I'm here with my daughter, who's not the first time, so she dragged me here, and it's very enjoyable.
I'm so happy. It's her birthday.
And it's her birthday.
Happy birthday.
Wow. Like, let's go. It's my birthday. Everybody come with me to synagogue. That's like a new one, right? Love that. It's like a section for 10. I love it. Yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Wow. Okay. just like taken away by that. Beautiful. Anybody? Hi. Hi.
Hi, I'm Linda Leah. I'm here from Ann Arbor, Michigan. It's my third or fourth time over the last few years. And I know about you because I trained at Aleph as a mashpia, and they say this is the place to come, and they're right. This is the first time I've come and haven't run into somebody else from Boulder.
Oh, from Boulder.
Give it time.
Which is where we did.
Well, we're not done yet. Is anybody here from Boulder?
Anybody else here from Boulder?
Anybody? Maybe some people are online from Boulder. I don't know.
I always feel at home here,
Yeah,
so
that's great.
thank you.
All right. We're then Boulder away from Boulder.
Yeah, well, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Or Ann Arbor. And also Boulder.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom. Mitch Leff from the Upper East Side. My astrologer, Astro John, told me to come and check out Romemu. So I'm here. See what happens.
Only at Romemu,
Testimonial.
right? It's like, this probably doesn't, I don't know if it happens at Emmanuel or at Central, but like, people come from all kinds of places, right? And Shalom Uvracha.
Hi, I'm Jamie Askin. I'm from Baltimore. I'm so happy to be here.
It's good to see you. Yeah, Jamie. When Jamie's a board member, moved down to okay, long story about Jamie. So if you've never been here before, you kind of assumed or you surmised that Jamie's not a new person, right? That would be a little bit weird. It's like, new person, never been here before, but we know everything about you. Welcome to a psychic synagogue, a psychagogue.
We only know about you if your astrologer passed on your
Exactly. Anybody here come from a palm reader or any tarots? You're also welcome.
joking.
Anybody else want to say hello? Okay. Oh, it's like I feel like Phil Donahue a little bit, but that's dating myself. Here you go. Hey.
Hi, good evening, hello, afternoon. My name is Nee, and Julia is my mentor, and actually, I plan on coming here this Friday, and it happens to be my birthday too, so I don't even know. I didn't plan on that, but yeah.
It's a good place to come for your birthday. That's what I heard. Hi. Hi.
Hi everyone, Shabbat Shalom. My name is Leah. I'm from Long Island, and I'm friends with Gabby and Izzy from Hunter. And Gabby and I take Hebrew together, so they invited me for Shabbos. So thank you for having me.
So amazing. So I had somebody from the Reform leadership of the National Reform leadership, and they came over for dinner last Friday night, and she said, "Where are all the young people?" I said, "What do you mean? There are tons of young people here." I was like, "Look at that whole section. It's like amazing. We have young people everywhere. Young people. I mean, all of us are young on some level, but it's amazing. So happy to see you. Anybody here want to say, wow, a lot more?
Second and third rows.
Okay,
So many
thanks.
young people. We see you.
Shabbat Shalom. Hi, I'm Oriana. I'm from Yonkers, and I'm a friend of Ben Pearlstein's, whom I dragged to Shabbat service today.
Nice. Rabbinic fellows. Hello.
Hey everyone, good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
My name's Elia. I'm hearing a reverb. I'm visiting from San Francisco, and I don't really remember how I first heard about Romemu, but for a couple of years it's been on my radar. Like, oh, if you're ever in New York, Romemu is the place to go. So
Amazing.
super glad to be here.
Super glad to have you. Okay, hi. Hello.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom. My name is Julie, and I'm from Paris, France. It's not my first time here, but it's always a pleasure to come back.
And are you part of Delphine's community in Paris, or
I am, sorry.
part of the community of Delphine, Rabbi Delphine? No. Okay, so close. Okay. Adam Morsorti. Okay, welcome. Okay, welcome. Great to have you. Yes, hi.
Hi, I'm so much reverb. Okay, I'm Zelly. I came here last week for the first time with my partner, but he is not. He was visiting, so he's gone. So this is my first time here by myself. So, hi everybody. Happy to be here.
Nice.
I'm from here. I live a few blocks away.
Awesome. Good to see you again. The whole community is here with you. It's good. Okay. I think we're gonna welcome others too who are here online. We have quite a number of people this weekend on the Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom to all of those who are in the synagogue. I see Jamie. I see your mom smiling from ear to ear. She's just like, Jamie's there. It's so great. Awesome. So beautiful. Okay, friends, Shabbat Shalom to all of you who are here. So good to see you, and so nice to be in community together in all of its variegated ways and expansive ways. And so we'll call to community at this moment, so please rise for the Baruch Hu, which you can find in your Siddur, page 31 and 32. I don't know about you, but last week, for many of us who were here last week, I didn't get a chance this week to call Shelley and Carmi, but I called Zach today just to say that last Friday night was spectacular. You know, in the present moment, but I'm also really feeling the reverberations of that beautiful evening of your poem, Shelley, and Zach's beautiful music together with his, you know, his group, Termenos, and anyway, we're looking forward to the next one too, God willing. At this moment, as we are called to community, we are in full recognition of the very strained way in which community has now been constructed in our country and maybe more broadly in the global community. It's a moment where the ubiquity of technology has allowed us to imagine bringing people in from everywhere, from down the block, and also from Brazil and from around the world. We have friends from Paris who are here tonight, and we have friends from Israel who are watching. My own wife is in Africa tonight, so Ariel is sending you love on her new job. And even with that reach, we still struggle with the inability to see the ones who are right before us with clarity and with compassion. We struggle, and we always have. And notwithstanding the blessings of technology, we still have not yet invented the technology for loving one another through our differences and through the ways in which God has made us so uniquely individuals and yet so profoundly connected on the deepest structure. And so I'm afraid, as all of you are tonight, that the riven nature of our body politic is on the verge again of being rent asunder. It's kind of continuing to reify divisions. And our particularities really are so vital, right? The different ways people gender and the way they love and the way that they believe and think, it's all so important. And yet I can't help but think over and over again that when I look into the eyes of another human being, I'm seeing a glimpse of infinite mystery and depth. And I wish that I could turn that on 24/7. So that even when someone who stands before me is so different than me, that I'm able to find the simple, profound unity that we share. That's our call to community on page 31 and 32. It's our call to community every morning and every night. When we Baruch Hu, we say that God lives in you, that is within me, and we share that together. And only in calling and hearing your response can I actually enter community, because it's about listening and it's about speaking, and both of those are vital. And so we call and we respond, and may we find a way to connect. Baruch Hu. Ya ma my 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 my. Hey ma 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 my. Ulucha shechina Eloheinu, you may be seated. Shem dvaram ariva ravim b'chachma potach sharim. Ela chaya v'kayemet. תמיד תמלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוכת שכינה, המעריבה ערבים, אהבת עולם בית ישראל, on page 36. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Enina enai olam enai 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 Yanenai enai On page 37 and 38. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. On page 39 and 40. V'yohavta et Adonai Elohecha Hayom alevavecha v'dibarta bam b'shivnecha ובשרמכם ובקומכם וקשרתם יוס על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכסבתם Continue on page 41, 42, 43, and 44. וכסבת מזוזו ביתך וישערך למען. ירבו ימיכם in order that your days and the days of your children may be long on the earth. God promised to your ancestors as long as the days of the skies above the land. The breath of life spoke to Moshe. Speak to the God-wrestling people and say to them, make fringes of the wings of your garments throughout your generations and put a thread of blue in the corners. These threads will be wing tufts for you, guiding you on the right path. You will look at them and remember all the ways of the breath of life and do them, and not be misdirected by your hearts or by your eyes when you are drawn after them. In this way, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוות והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אדוני אלוהיכם אמס. page 47 and 48. ומלכוסו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה מרים ובני ישראל הכנו שירה, ושמחה רבה, ואומרו כולם.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש,
כי ועדה אדוני את יעקב וגאל מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו on page 49 and 50. נין בעצה טובה מלפניך אל מלכנו לרחומתה ושמור צאצאנו ובואנו לכם ושום יד ויד עולם.
פרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הבורא סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ועל ירושלים.
Please rise. Page 51 and 52. Kaddish and page 52.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ואומד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי.
לך יקוננו ויומך לכל בית ישראל בעגה.
ובזמן קריב ויאמרו
אמן. יהי שמי רבה
מבורך
ועולם
מעלמיה
יתברך וישתבח ויסבר וישרומם ויסנשי ויסחדר ויסעלה ויסעלל שמי דקודשה לעילה מן כה בחסך ושיר עשה תושבך
ונחמתה
גם
איראן בעלמה.
And let us say the standing prayers, the silent Amida can be found on page 55 and 56.
We stepped in, the water's getting higher, up to our chins. Breathing's getting harder, feeling alone. Just us in danger to leave our home, to become a stranger. Lech lecha, from your place of comfort. Lech lecha, into the great unknown. Lech lecha, with a nation sure to follow, as we gaze up at Mediterranean skies. Just take a step and walk with me tonight. What holds us back is what we thought we knew. Stepping off the path for a different view. Push towards the tension, struggling along, to remove from mention, to grapple strong. Lech lecha, from your place of comfort. Lech lecha, into the great unknown. Lecha, with a nation sure to follow, as we gaze up at Mediterranean skies. Just take a step and walk with me tonight, as we gaze up at Mediterranean skies. Just take a step and walk with me tonight.
So this past week, my kids insisted on going trick-or-treating. We should have a conversation about trick-or-treating at some point. Its function, its sanctity, its purpose. But something really beautiful came out of it that was really, I think, profoundly important. Not just the bags and bags of candy that we have to find a way to get rid of. My son was given by one of our neighbors a book of cartoons, the first 10 episodes of the Spider-Man series in their original. And so that evening, when it came time for me to read to Orzi in bed, we started to read the first Spider-Man. And one of the more remarkable things about Spider-Man, as opposed to other superheroes, is that in Spider-Man, they actually explore, right, the character's origin story. So there I am with Orzi and reading about how Peter Parker was this rejected child who felt alienated and isolated and weak, and then in some remarkable moment was bitten by a radioactive spider. And before he knew it, he was climbing walls. And then in the very next scene, in the development of his character, like as he became Spider-Man, the story shows that actually in the beginning he was just like an act that was, a novelty act, and he was making money, and he was right in all of the different theaters, and he was looking out for himself. And at one point he's walking out of a gig where he's making, a name. Some thief is running by him, and he just ignores the thief. And when the cop who's running after the thief sees that essentially Spider-Man has let this thief walk by, he says, "Why didn't you stop him?" He says, "I'm not interested. It's not my business. I'm too busy making money." And in the very next page, of course, if you know the story, Peter Parker's uncle, who's his father figure, is killed by a thief. And it turns out that that thief was the thief that Spider-Man had ignored. And thus is the origin story of a beloved Marvel character. And in this way, Spider-Man is unique, I guess, amongst other superheroes, because other stories don't tell origin stories. They don't tell how the character became the character that they are. But the Torah also has a similar story, a similar phenomena. Often the Torah will give us a character, and without telling us who the character is or what motivated the character, what the meaning of the Torah is. And there's no more famous example than in this week's Torah reading. In Parshat Lech Lecha, in the beginning of chapter 12 of the book of Genesis, right, we're introduced to an election, right, an election of an individual and his being chosen by God. But the text has not in any way, shape, or form told us why or what motivated God to choose this particular character. Think of that. Imagine that the rabbis in our ancient tradition are bothered with the lack of criteria or credibility for a particular election. Imagine that. Imagine a character whose bona fides have not been expressed by the Torah and is kind of randomly and summarily chosen by the divine out of all of those who could have been chosen. And you can imagine the incredulity of the rabbis when they read about Abraham's election. But the truth is that We know who Avram is, right? He is the son of Terach. His father has left a certain place. He's begun a journey. But there's no character quality that says, oh, this is a righteous man. This one is worthy of our election. This one is worthy of being chosen by God. And so they all, the rabbis created their own mini-series. And they imagine what might have happened in order for Abraham to become the man we call Abraham. And one of the stories is written by a certain Rabbi Yitzchak, quoted by Rashi, by the great commentator. This Rabbi Yitzchak lived in the 3rd century, and he has a parable. Mashal echad shaya over mimakom lemakom. A parable, this can be compared to a man who was traveling from place to place. Vera'ah bira doleket. And he saw a building that is doleket, a light, beautifully lit or burning on fire. Amar, tomar shabira zu below manhig. Is it possible for this bira, this building, to be without a manhig, a leader or a caretaker? Hitzitz alav bala bira. The owner of the building peered out. Amar lo anihu bala bira. I'm the bala bira. I'm the master. I'm the landlord. I'm the owner of this bira, of this building. Kach lefi shaya Avram Avinu omer tomar sha'olam hazeh below manhig. In a similar way, the parable says Abraham, our ancestor, was saying, is it possible that this building, this world, lacks a manhig, a caretaker, an owner? The Holy One peered out to him and said to him, I am the owner of the world. And one of the most beautiful things about the Hebrew language is that it can often lead to ambiguous or multiple meanings. And that's certainly the case here in the story of the Midrash, in the Doleket. What is Doleket? The Midrash says that Avram was like someone passing by a building that was Doleket. So the first meaning of it, of course, is light. It was nidlach, like lahadlik ner. It was lit up. It was like Avraham is like someone walking by a really well-lit house. And he says, is it possible that the house is lit up and there's no one who lit it? Things don't just light up. This is classically, right, a cosmological proof. You look at the world full of beauty and meaning, you say, is it possible all this beauty and meaning is without purpose, without someone who started it? Abraham Joshua Heschel called this what? Radical amazement. He looked at the beauty of the building and said, there must be a caretaker. According to this view, the origin story of Avram, his being bitten by the spider, his magic powers come from an analytical mind. He's the Ur philosopher. He looks out at the world and arrives at God and meaning and purpose by deducing from everything around, wow, there must be someone who owns this building, otherwise the lights would not be on. He walks along the path in Paris and sees beauty and says, what a wonderful world. But the second meaning of that building being doleket, lit, is actually the reverse. It's not that the building is lit up in a positive way, but it's on fire. The word doleket from the Hebrew, right, we use it for fuel now. Delek is gas. The building is on fire. And so in this understanding, Abraham walks by this building that's on fire, and it's about to burn down, and he says, okay, someone, right, there's someone who lit it on fire, something about that, right? But if we think about this in a different way, and I want to introduce you here to a scholar named Pinchas Mandel, who wrote about this Midrash, and he said something remarkable about the image that is being employed by this, right, Rabbi Yitzchak from 2,000 years ago. This Dr. Mandel, in his research, found that the type of building that were common in the time of Rabbi Yitzchak in the 3rd century were a kind of building that had 5 stories, and they were prone to collapse and fire. And he also found that these buildings were generally owned by someone who lived in a separate building. This sound at all familiar to anybody here? And the owner would then hire a manhig. What would we call that manhig now, A super. A superintaker, a caretaker. Like I guess, sort of like a landlord. I think it would be more like a super. The owner of the building lives in another building, and there's a building there that's prone to collapse, and they have a manhig, which literally means a leader, but in this case, it's a caretaker, the super, and he takes care. And so if you understand Dr. Mandel's employing of that kind of critical approach to this midrash, it changes the meaning of Avram in the story. It's not about finding God. The owner, right, is in another building, and a traveler arrives in town and he sees a building on fire. And nobody cares. And he says, is it possible for there to be a building, a beautiful structure, that is owned by someone and there's no manhig, there's no landlord, there's no super, nobody has been given the responsibility to take care of this building? Because otherwise, in Avram's mind, in the parable, Avram is like, it's not possible that my job is to take care of this building and I'm not there. The owner notices the traveler who stopped to look and cries out, I'm the owner, but I didn't have a manager. And you're the first one to stop and notice. And no one is helping organize the people to put out the flames in the building. In this parable, God cries out to Avram because God created the world, and you're the first person to notice that the world is on fire. You're the first person who has inquired about the landlord, the manager. And so now you have a choice, Avram. Do you want to move on, or do you want to walk to your next town? Or will you stay here and become the manager? Will you organize the town? Will you find the water? Will you put out the fire? Will you, Avram, save my world? What did Avram do to merit this election? In one scene, Avram is the classic seeker, and God says, oh, you were looking for me, and so here I am. You found the beauty in the world and you responded to it. You had luminous, numinous, miraculous, transcendent experiences. You did psychedelics, you sat 30-day retreats, you name it. You're a religious person, you're a Shlomo Carlebach groupie. You are like, an evangelical. You're on fire for God. And God says, woo, somebody found me. Saw behind all of the ugliness of the world and saw the beauty there. And that's why you deserve for me to say hi. But this second version is so radically different than that. It's someone who walks along and says, the building is on fire. Where's the manager? Oh, there's no manager? Let me find the owner. Oh, the owner is here? And the owner says, yeah, I've been looking for a manager. You want the job? Are you ready to get out the vote? Are you ready to make sure that women's bodies are protected? Are you ready to make sure that in a war of the cultures, you're on the side of love and not on the side of closing down? Are you going to make sure that people step up and step in? Are you going to be the one? Are you ready to be a superhero? Have you been bitten yet by that bug? What a remarkable midrash. What a remarkable parable. What a remarkable moment for this parsha to show up in our lives at this moment, this week coming up. It's amazing. It's like, who wrote this? It's like, what's going on? It's like, I remember, remember the week after, unfortunately, anyway, it happens like this, right? It happens like this. It's a remarkable, remarkable invitation, imperative, obligation. Some of us might say, who am I? Right? My vote doesn't count, or really, what good could I do? What good is my service in the world? The world's on fire. Each and every one of you here, and each and every one of us who knows this story, is a grandchild of this person. You have this in your blood, in your heart, in your soul, in your archetype. You have it in your astrological mandala. You have it somewhere in you, in me, in all of us, each and every one of us. The divine is asking us whether we're at Hammerstein Ballroom last night, or we're at Romemu tonight, or wherever we're going to be on Tuesday. There's always a moment where when we notice the world is on fire and we think to ourselves, I can move on or I can stop and notice it. God says, thank you for stopping. I've got a job for you. Oh, it's in a cab? That's your job. Your job is over there on 114th Street. It's in Wichita. It's in Israel. It's in Palestine. It's wherever it is. God says, if you stop to notice and you ask the question, what am I supposed to do? How do I save this building? God says, great. You don't have to show me your resume. I choose you. Indeed, I do. The Ohev Yisrael, the Alter Rebbe, one of the great Hasidic masters, he wrote that when God comes to Avram, he says, Lech lecha me'artzecha, right? Leave your home, your land, your birthplace, your father's house, and go to the land that I will show you. And then God runs into all of these rewards and promises. You'll be famous. You'll have a bigger platform. Your brand will expand. Everything you could possibly want. You'll be wealthy, the Torah says. And the Alter Rebbe quotes the Midrash. The Midrash says that Abraham had 10 tests. And it began with the first Lech Lecha in chapter 12, and it ends with the Lech Lecha, with the Akedah, with the sacrifice of his son. And the Alter Rebbe says, what kind of test is the first test, Lech Lecha? I know that our amazing rabbinic fellow Jackson just sang about going into the unknown. That's certainly a test. But as the Alter Rebbe said, if God came to me and you, and we merited that kind of revelation and said, you know what, pick up. I'm not going to tell you where to go, but trust me, just go. And we knew with absolute veracity that it was God. Is that really a test? Not sure. So here's what the Alter Rebbe said. He said, if you look later on in the Torah portion tomorrow, when Abraham begins his journey, he finally takes in all of the things that God promises. It doesn't say that he took it all in and said, I'm going to remember you promised me all these things. It says, Vayelech Avram kasher diber elav Adonai. And Avram left just as God had spoken to him. And the Alter Rebbe says, what does that mean? Why does that have to say, as God had spoken to him? He says, because even after God promised him all those things, that wasn't what motivated Avram. What motivated him was kasher diber elav Adonai, that God spoke to him. He felt love and mercy and compassion. That's what drove him. Not how many likes and how many hits and how big a resume he would have. It's true, all those things might have come, but his intention was pure. He saw the suffering in the world. He saw the opportunity to make a change, and he said, yeah, okay, I'm ready. It might expand my work in the world, he said. It's true. Maybe now I'll have a chance to speak about what I've seen in the beautiful moments. Maybe now I'll have a bigger platform for my Torah, the Torah of Avram. Maybe now I'll reach more people. But that's not what motivated him, says the Alter Rebbe. What motivated him was kasher diber elav Adonai. God spoke to him. God spoke to him, and he heard it clearly. And he felt called. And like that Parker who walked by and said, you know what, I'm not so interested in stopping that robber, but it came back to bite him, as it were. He realized that his work in the world, his deployment, was to build a better world. Even if they wouldn't one day make big comics about him, maybe Peter Parker realized, you know, I could have stopped something, it could have made a difference, and I promise from now on I will. So don't give up hope, friends. We've been here before. We've been here before. And whatever happens come this week, on Tuesday, after all of you take your deployment and you get out the vote and you help secure other people getting the vote, and we go out to build a world where this structure is not collapsing, there'll be plenty of work to do. There'll be plenty of work to do. And it can be certainly challenging and scary. It's a big test to live not knowing. But if Abraham is my Zaidi, my grandfather, and all of your great-great-great-grandfather, his story is a story of a remarkable person who was willing to say, you know what? I'm looking for the landlord. Oh, there isn't one? Sign me up. May God give us the strength. May God give us the strength this Shabbos and the Shabbos to come to realize that it's a long, long, long journey. And each of us has a part to play. So let's play it. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי רצון,
ולא שמענו משפחות האדמה, ששמו חלקנו עמהם, וגורלנו. We're on page 77 and 78. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלכי המלכים הקדוש. שאונו דשמיים יוסד, אז משה וקרוב השולחן. על כי נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו רק מהרה בדבר תוזך להביא גילויים. כי המלכות שלך היא וליום יתמלוך בכבוד ככתוב בתורתך. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני You may be seated. If you are in mourning, please remain standing. We remember loved ones at this moment. You can find the Mourner's Kaddish in the back of your Siddur on page 115. It's our custom to say the names of loved ones out loud. If you feel called to do that, please say the names of loved ones out loud. Theo, go ahead. Okay. And for those online as well, Sufi Singh, holding you in our hearts, Emily and Manvinder. Hannah S., Elaine Glenda Bloom, Obrigado, and all of those in our community who are being remembered tonight. If it's your custom to stand for the mourners, please rise. Again, the Mourner's Kaddish on page 115 and 116. Yiskadal v'yiskadash shmei Rabbah v'olma divrach chidusei v'yamlich mahusei v'chayichon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman kori v'imru amen yesh shmei Rabbah v'forach le'alam ve'amaya יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילם יקום ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירם לאומה ואמרו אמן יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן ועושה שלום במרומה והוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Yehi Zichram Baruch. I invite you all to please rise at this moment as we conclude our service tonight with Kiddush. And as it is our custom into this cup of blessing, again, once again, all of our davening leaders tonight, again to Noah Solomon. Thank you so much to Carla Friend, to Shoshana Jedwab, and to our rabbinic fellow, Jackson Mercer. What a beautiful Lech Lecha. That was really spectacular. And to our new sound person, Mike, and to Hector at the door, and to Rabbi Elster as well. Tomorrow morning, open book will be at 8:45 tomorrow morning, followed by Ty's Bar Mitzvah. We're really looking forward to that, Ty. On page, I think, 88, we have Kiddush. Yom HaShishi, Vaychulu HaShamayim v'chaaretz, v'chol tzeva'am, Vaychal Elohim bayom hashvi'i, melachto asher asa, Vayishbos bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa, Vayivarech Elohim es yom hashevi'i, Vayikadesh oso, Hiro Shabbos mikol melachto, Asher bara Elohim lasod. Savri chavirai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו בסוסה ורצבנו, ושבז קודשו, ויאהבה רצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשיס, כי הוא יום למקראי קודש. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, עם כל העמים, בשבת קודשך. הנחלת, ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Shabbos, everybody, get Shabbos. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei te'el ve'inu amen. Hey! Yom le'leila, yom le'leila, yom le'leila, yom le'leila.
Glorious.